CSS examination in Pakistan and passing that is a very coveted objective of students. It has been reported in Dawn, quoting a SAPM, Special Assistant to the Prime Minister, and also the news item talks about Federal Public Service Commission Chairman Mr. Zaid Saeed. What is happening is that a screening pre-examination is being set up, which would be preceding the CSS actual examination, basically probably to reduce the number of candidates appearing and to reduce the time which it takes for the finalization of the CSS everything. And a news item quotes that FPSC Chairman Zaid Saeed said that the score of the MPT would be valid only for the same year's CSS CE and would not be counted towards overall marks determining the final merit position. He said that all graduates having at least second division in bachelor's degree and between 21 and 30 years of age on the cutoff date of 31st December 2021 would be eligible to apply. A 2-year extension relaxation would be admissible to the category specified in CSS CE Rules 2019. There would be no negative marking in MPT. It would comprise 200 MCQs of 1 mark each. The time duration would be 200 minutes, he added. For the purpose of transparency, FPSC Chairman said that the answer key would be uploaded on the Commission's website same day of MPT. Mr. Saeed said that the FPSC has conducted a statistical analysis of the past 5 years, and it was evident from the analysis that most of the candidates, including from Balochistan and Sindh, had scored at least 33% marks in the compulsory subjects in written part of the examination. The screening test essentially consists of compulsory subjects of CSS examination, including Islamic studies. Non-Muslims may either opt for civics and ethics or Islamic studies 20 marks. Urdu grammar and usage and translation 20 marks. English vocabulary, grammar, usage and comprehension 50 marks. General abilities, basic arithmetic, algebra and geometry SSC level. Logical problems solving, analytical ability and mental ability 60 marks, and general knowledge, everyday science, current affairs and Pakistan affairs 50 marks. Now, there is a problem in this type of approach. For example, why the second divisioners and above should only be allowed? Why not include the third divisioners? If the purpose is the screening, the screening itself is not a bad idea, and particularly a computer screening. But what is important is that how do you give marks? The problem with this type of exam is that on one hand, you want to recruit people for various groups, technical groups, of management, and at the same time your screening examinations are very general. As a matter of fact, the biggest objections to the Federal Public Service Commission recruitment system itself is that its process does not favor a technocratically trained person. And by putting a lower age limit of 30 years, basically it ensures that people with good technical skills cannot enter the CSS examinations because it is going to take time to acquire those skills or degrees in specialized fields. And this is particularly prominent in the field of medicine, for example. Often the age limits for medical officer might be around 32 or something like that, used to be, and it could be 45 in case of specialty type things. Sometimes it's more than that. But generally speaking, the problem with the Public Service Commission is that it hinders the technicality of the thing. It hinders the people with the more qualifications, with more scientific and technical qualifications, either on account of the age limit or on account of the procedure of recruitment. For example, the kind of people who sit in the Public Service Commissions are generally retired bureaucrats from various groups, and maybe a few from the army. But generally speaking, it is not a technically rich body when it comes to sciences, when it comes to other things. And besides, one objections which we continuously have is that if you have a preliminary examination, a screening test, and you are given a score, why you are not counting it in the final score? And secondly, we are in principle, we are against the idea of self-abrogating educational scores, because self-abrogating scores has the problem, because on one hand, if you say that somebody has got 80% screening test, but we'll count it only for this year, it will not count forever ever, means that you have abrogated his score, you have abrogated his pass just on the basis of time limit, and usually the objectives are just to get additional fees. There is this obstruction and this objection going on in the society, that in the guise of obtaining more and more money from the children of poor parents, more and more exams are put up, more and more parts and of exams are created, and then a limit is put on that. Well, if in 2 years' time you don't clear this thing, your score will be abrogated. This is a legal situation, and we have called it many times before that the Supreme Court of Pakistan should take this suo motu notice on this thing of self-abrogating educational credits. This system is just meant for money making, and even the foreign organizations like British Council, which conducts many exams like AS, like other exams, which have got even in medical educational programs, senior exams, there is this tendency of saying, well, this will be valid for 2 years or 3 years or 5 years or something like that, or 1 year or one cycle or something. This thing has to stop. Such examinations should be stopped unless they change their rules and regulations, and all educational credit should be permanent. Basically, I don't oppose the CSS screening test, provided the number of candidates is far exceeding than the slots. There are people who hope that the same kind of companies which have conducted some of the flawed examinations, or there were some difficulties in the conduct of the examinations because they did not have either the experience or capacity, or there were other technical issues which came up, there is this talk about difficulties in MedCat exams. They are not awarded these types of contracts. But that is obviously not the purpose of this post. I hope that people will comment on this one, because CSS exam is one of the exams in which our youngsters are very much interested. Thank you very much for your patience.